Okay, today what we're going to work on is getting the Pasco wireless spectrophotometer, get the software down, and then just get some data. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go out and get your software. Go to pasco.com. And then in that zone you can go to the menu, go to downloads. There is an option of software downloads. You want spectrometry, and I'm going to download Windows for free. So here we go. Save file. Takes a minute. Okay, so once you're done downloading the software, you can go to your download page, install the software. Just double click on your download file, kind of standard stuff. Then this will come up, the install shield. Just kind of walk through those processes. I accept the license agreement. I accept sending Dr. Thompson my credit card number, that sort of thing. Install. Now once you're done installing, say finish. And now you have your fancy software ready to go. First thing that's going to happen is you're going to once you turn on the software, it's going to be looking for it. So you can actually, if you have your Bluetooth on your computer, you can choose the wireless interface, and then first step is look on the bottom of your box and get that number, or get the last 4 digits of the number. So we're working with spectrometer 60492. That's going to be important because if there's multiple ones in the room, you want to make sure you're hooking up to your own. So now you're ready to flip that back down. So we're looking for 492. The on button is on the right hand side. Okay, go ahead and turn it on. And you'll see lights on the top start flashing when you get it. So there you go. And once you go through that sequence and it flashes blue, then this will find the wireless interface, and I'll leave that. So it looks like maybe my Bluetooth isn't on my computer, so I want to make sure that's for sure happening. Yeah, Bluetooth better turn mine on. That's going to make my life a lot better. So it looks like, what I needed to do is add it to the computer first. Now there's spectrometer 492, which is the one we're looking for, so I'm going to click him on. So I had to go in and say add a device. Back on action. Paired, your device is ready to go. Now let's see how life looks from the other end. Let's see. Oh, here it is. Now I go back in and choose the wireless device now. There, I have it. Connect. And look up how the connection status changed. Before I had a yellow, and if I click it, it tells me that I'm connected to that spectrophotometer, so that's really helpful. All right, now we're in business. All right. So one of the first things, can you see okay? One of the first things I like to do is get rid of this irritating screen. If you just push this color thing, it gets rid of that obnoxious color screen. So now, like the Ocean Optics or most spectrophotometers, you have something that sometimes it's called calibrate dark light. What you can think about this is stray light. In other words, if there's light outside of the spectrophotometer that's coming from another source, you want to measure it, and then every measurement you take after that will actually be subtracted. That light will be subtracted out. So on this particular instrument, there's a black, or it says calibrate dark, and when you push it, it just turns off the switch in the spectrophotometer, measures any light that it's measuring. So if the light source in the spectrometer is off, it measures that light. It will now be able to subtract it. And then the other box to the right is the calibrate reference. So whatever your solvent is, then that's what you want to have in the box to actually calibrate. And so and this is probably worth talking about for a minute too, to save volume. So they didn't try and put any optical glass in there. These are pretty inexpensive, so it would have been real expensive to put nice optical glass in there. So you can handle from the sides or from the top box, and you only need to fill above where that indented part is. But then the flat sides are where the nice optical glass is. And if you look at them real close, you can see that there's a little rectangle of really nice glass inserted in there. And so one thing I do is I also look through them and make sure they look clear. If not, then you need to clean them. And I recommend using the lens wipes that you use for cleaning your goggles to clean the optical glass. And then the next thing you look at, and I'm going to let Miss Evans put that in. And now if you'll look at the diagram, the detector is on the left side and the light is on the right, so the light is passing through this way, so you want that to pass through the optical glass. There you go. So now in that goes. Perfect. Thank you, ma'am. And push it till it seats, and we're ready for action. So we're now going to turn on my drop box, but that's not what I really want to do. I'm going to calibrate for my reference. Takes a minute. Finished. So now we have everything in place so that we can now take a sample. And the nice thing is, if you're going to run in absorbance mode, it's on the left axis. If you want to flip to transmittance mode, like some of our labs do, you actually just click that left-hand column and it'll switch in between the mode that you're measuring. So we're going to run in absorbance at this moment. We're going to click on Analyze Solution. We're going to change over to a colored sample, and then we say Analyze Solution. We already have that going. Now I don't see anything right now. Down on the bottom left is kind of like a toggle switch to start taking sample. So here we go. So I now have a little sample, and you can see there's an intense peak around 800. You really should run spectroscopy in the 0 to 1 range when you're looking at absorbance. And so right now we're looking all the way up to 4, so we have 3 units that are useless to us. Right here and down to the left there has a scale to fit, and once you hit that scale to fit, it comes online and maximizes your peak. And then if you want to read anywhere on the peak, you take your hand over the box, you click and drag wherever you would like to read, and then if you can read there, or if you want to type in an actual wavelength, you can actually jump in here. There you go, and it adjusted the box for you. So whatever you want to do there. Now some of the things you see, we have a lot of noise. You could fix that noise by doing number of scans to average. I wouldn't overdo, but maybe run it up to 5 or 6, which basically means I'm going to take 5 shots and then average them, then the highs and lows go out a little. So you saw it clean up a little. And then the other feature we have is what's called smoothing, which basically expands around the point you're measuring and says, what's the trend if I look 10 units to my right, 10 units to my left, what is the ongoing trend? And if this line doesn't match up with the trend on either side of me, then maybe I'm just noise, so I'll get rid of that. If you smooth too much, you can actually get rid of the entire peak. So, I just, again, go maybe 5 or so, and this really... Okay, so that's how you take spectra From there you can take a journal snapshot, which will just be like taking a screenshot, which is kind of nice. And let's see, what can I do with this? Oh, I can download this as a file, it looks like. Looks like it's a PNG file, and that's the only option. Insert pictures, there we go, from this device. Desktop, all pictures. There it is. So you can go that route if you wanted to put it in something. That's one option. So the other thing that we like to do with our spectrophotometer, we'll do a kinetics lab where we actually want to analyze this 800 line over time. And in order to do that, you need to have that box back that we had where we can actually pick the point, which was the add coordinate tool. And when we choose that, that's back on. Get to the line you want to watch. As long as you're recording and adjusting where you're at, etc., you have no access to the time box. But if you stop and see the time box lit up and you are at the location you're looking for, you are now able to measure for kinetics experiments by just simply clicking your time box. It will now measure in the absorbance at the wavelength you specified with that coordinate tool. So here we go. Now we're going to run a timed experiment. Hit start again. And you can see obviously the concentration is not changing, but you do it over time. When you're done with the timed experiment, you push stop. And then now when you go to export data, it's actually going to come out as a CSV file that you can upload with Microsoft Excel.